Today we're taking a look at these NFL matches, which are happening on Sunday, November 20th, 2022, and giving you match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes, let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe and push that notification bell to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. Multiple plans are available for each and every one of you. By becoming a member of the High Stakes Patreon, you will have access to our best team picks, total picks, parlay picks and much more. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting predictions that ends up costing you a lot of time and money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks. Going back to our video, we will give you 2 betting picks for each game, a team pick and a total pick based on facts and detailed explanation. So make sure to watch our videos till the end so you don't miss any of our picks. Minnesota Vikings vs Dallas Cowboys. Both Dallas and Minnesota had to play overtime in Week 9, and we should see another tight battle when they face off against each other in Week 10. The Cowboys' run D has struggled thus far, allowing 143.1 rushing yards per game and 4.8 yards per carry. On the other side, the Vikings' secondary is banged up a bit and Minnesota is surrendering 262.9 passing yards per contest. Dallas's pass D is one of the best in the league, so I'm expecting the Vikings to run the football a lot. Keep your eyes on Dalvin Cook if you like to bet on player props. I'm not going to stand in front of the red-hot Vikings, though this matchup feels like a coin flip. Dallas visited Minneapolis in each of the previous 2 seasons and won on both occasions, but this Minnesota team is different. The Vikings are unbeaten in 5 straight outings at home. Take the Minnesota Vikings plus 1 point. This is a game that I expect to be high scoring. The Vikings offense has been playing at an elite level, and I do not see why they would slow down at home. Prescott played well last week and appears to be coming into his own more and more as the weeks pass by. CeeDee Lamb is always capable of big plays, and Tony Pollard has been running like a stud. I think there will be big plays in this game, as they will try to keep up with one another. Take the over 48.5 points. Pittsburgh Steelers vs Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati has felt some sense of a Super Bowl hangover this season, and after running through the AFC in last year's playoffs, they now find themselves sitting at 5-4 on the 2022 season. Just making the playoffs seems like it could take some work, though winning the division remains the end goal. The schedule for the Bengals doesn't get much easier going forward though, with a road game at Tennessee awaiting next, followed by welcoming the Chiefs to town. After losing to the Steelers in Week 1, there's no doubt that revenge will be on their mind in this one, especially as they hit the road. Injuries have hit the Bengals hard again this season, especially on the defensive side of things. The defensive line has 3 players questionable for this weekend, while Brandon Wilson, knee, has already been ruled out in the secondary. Despite the issues on defense, the biggest absence remains Ja'Marr Chase, hip, who expects to remain out into next month. The Steelers have struggled this season, but after springing the upset over the Bengals in the opener, they'll be liking their chances to replicate that success in the rematch, this time at their home. The Steelers did well to snap their 2-game losing streak the last time out, taking down New Orleans by 10 points the last time out. This group hasn't been great but has shocked me at times, just as they did in Week 1. Beyond that, being able to play at home more the second straight week is bound to help as well, especially against a divisional rival. Having one of the NFL's lengthiest injury reports hasn't helped matters for the Steelers this season. On the defensive side of things, TJ Watt, pectoral, is back in the lineup, as is Devin Bush, knee. With the defense taking shape, this team might be finding their legs at the right time. On the offensive side, Najee Harris, knee, is the name to keep an eye on for Sunday, as he's currently probable for the weekend. The Steelers might be welcoming back some key figures on the defense, but it will be too much to expect them to shake the rust off quickly enough on Sunday to change the outcome of the game. The Bengals have Mixon and the ground game getting hot at the right time, while the offense still has plenty of weapons in the passing attack. For the Steelers, the lack of offense will haunt them in this one as well, and replicating the success of the opening week won't happen. Take the Bengals, minus 3.5. The Steelers are entering this matchup as 3.5-point underdogs, as they really haven't found their groove this season, especially with their passing offense. Pittsburgh earned 379 yards against New Orleans, with 162 yards being through the air and 217 yards being on the ground. This season, the Steelers are averaging 326.6 yards per game, earning 218.1 passing yards and 108.4 rushing yards per game. The defense is surrendering 275.8 passing yards and 108 rushing yards per game. In their last matchup against the Bengals, the Steelers came out on top in a 23-20 overtime win back in September. Burrow and the Bengals have the ability to put points on the board, and I expect them to in the matchup. Although Chase is out for Cincinnati, I expect Mixon and Higgins to step up for the offense and put points on the board. The defensive threats they need to look for are Highsmith and Watt, however, downfield there aren't as many threats. The Steelers have been struggling with their pass offense, so I do expect them to run more. With that being said, running allows them to avoid Bell in the secondary, which means fewer interceptions. The Steelers will still add points on the board, but it won't be as efficient as the Bengals' pass offense. Burrow and his offense will put decent points on the board and come out as winners. Take the over 40.5 points. Los Angeles Chargers vs Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are rolling and have the best record in the AFC at 7-2. They have won 3 straight games, including a 27-17 win over the Jaguars last Sunday. The Chiefs barely covered as a 9.5-point favorite. The Chiefs jumped out to a 20-0 lead and cruised from there. Kansas City rolled up a 486-315-yard edge and a 26-17 edge in first downs. The Jaguars came back and made a game of it, but it was too little too late. They gave us all we could handle, and it wound up being a good game at the end, Chiefs coach Andy Reid said after the game, reported ESPN. A lot was expected of the Chargers this season, as many predicted they might challenge the Chiefs. They challenged the Chiefs in Week 2, losing 27-24 in Kansas City, as the Chiefs erased a 17-7 third-quarter deficit to score the come-from-behind win. Since then, the Chargers have been very average. They have lost 2 of their last 3 games, including a 22-16 loss at San Francisco last Sunday. It was another game where the Chargers blew a second-half lead. The Chargers had been leading 16-10 at half and 16-13 entering the fourth quarter and managed to lose it. The Chargers covered the last time these two teams played as 4-point underdogs in a 27-24 loss. But things have changed since then. The Chiefs have shaken off a slow start to the season that saw them lose a game at Indianapolis early on, while the Chargers have just sort of sputtered along. A big issue for the Chargers has been injuries to their receiving core, which has really kept the offense in check. And those injuries keep piling up. Now, in addition to Mike Williams, who is out, and Keenan Allen, who is questionable, DeAndre Carter and tight end Gerald Everett are questionable. And Herbert is no Mahomes when it comes to making do with second or third string receiver talent. The Chargers just seem to find ways to lose close games, and they are playing a team that finds way to win close games. Take the Chiefs giving up the points. These two teams have good offensive squads that typically throw for high numbers. The Chargers team will be pulling out the stops at home, so look for a better offensive performance than last week's one-off against the Niners. The trends support this. Over is 7-1 in the Chiefs' last 8 road games, and over is 9-2 in Chargers' last 11 games on field turf. Watch for the balls to fly through the air this weekend and for defenses to struggle. Go over 52 points for the win.